Scott Angelle joining us on the line because he pointed out we have another way for Bernie and Brandon. And, sir, good morning.
Good morning to you guys. Thank you for rocking Acadiana. Y'all doing a tremendous job, and it's so good to be joining. You know, this first weekend we just experienced squirrel season in Louisiana, right? The weather was amazing. Mm-hmm. And I got to tell y'all, when I was up in Washington for 3.5 years, people would ask me, what was the biggest sacrifice I had to make? And the biggest sacrifice I had to make is that when I walked by Lafayette Park, Lafayette Square, every morning, there would be so many squirrels in that beautiful park, but, you know, kind of off limits for a 12 gauge and a little bit of squirrel sauce piquant. So anyway, good to be with you. And it's an amazing weekend. And you know, your listeners need to know that I think we only have 82 days Christmas shopping days left. So it's going by pretty fast.
Boy, you're not kidding. Brandon and I were talking about that this morning. You know, time just seems like it just barrels faster and faster.
Well, it's a sign that we may be getting a little bit older, right?
Yeah, no, I guess it beats the alternative. Okay, so talk to us a little bit about offshore leasing and what we as Americans can do to be heard on issues related to this.
Yeah, thank you so much. And, you know, look, elections have consequences. We all know that. And one of the consequences of this last election is that the White House has decided to pause and cancel offshore lease sales. And that's an unfortunate thing because about 15% of the oil that's produced in America comes from the Gulf of Mexico, a very, very important part of America's energy portfolio. And we know what has happened at the gas pump since we've canceled these lease sales. There's been a significant increase. And rather than turning to American workers, USA energy workers, to increase production, our public policy is to increase interest rates. So rather than trying to tame inflation by increasing domestic production, because energy cost is a big driver of inflation, we have turned as a country to increasing interest rates to artificially slow down this economy. And it's very, very unfortunate. And right now, the federal government is out on a public comment period that will last through Thursday of this week. October 6th is when that window closes. For folks to share with America their belief of how important offshore energy is to America's energy portfolio. And, you know, in our lives, Bernie and Brandon, one of the things that happens every day to all of us, and we all guilty of it, occasionally we'll say, you know, if they would only do this, if they would only do that, if somebody would do this, or they would do it this way. Well, in this particular case, we have a chance to be they. And what I mean by that is we have an opportunity to comment and send these comments into the government. We have a very easy way to do it. It takes 30 seconds or so. And I would submit to your listeners out there that if public policy in America was attacking wheat production, I think Kansas would wake up. I think if we had public policy pending that would affect corn production, Nebraska would wake up. If we had public policy that was affecting automobile manufacturing, we would expect Michigan to wake up. Well, Louisiana is the host state for offshore energy in the Gulf of Mexico, and we need to be heard loudly, and we've come up with a system that allows folks 30 seconds can get those comments in. So we're excited about it. We want to share that with you viewers, you listeners this morning.
And so how can people comment about it? What can they do? Is there a text option? Is there an option online? What do we need to know?
Yeah, you know, the big thing is that Brobridge has joined the technology world this morning right here. And so we got a really easy way to do it. We want to encourage all of you listeners to please remember all they have to do is text the words offshore USA. Make sure there's a space between offshore and USA. Text those words to the number 52886. 52886. Again, saying it one more time. Offshore USA with a space between the words offshore and USA to 52886. That will bring them to an opportunity that will take no more than 30 seconds to adopt a prescriptive set of comments based on facts, not politics, based on facts, not emotions, based on the strength of the oil and gas workers in the Gulf of Mexico, the men and women who for generations have put on their hard hats and their steel-toe boots, kissed their families goodbye, and set out to do the hard work of fueling this great country. If we can get our zip code to light up those comments by basically texting offshore space USA to 52886, we'll be counted, and I'm confident we will be able to improve public policy. Because right now, the federal government is out on a comment period, and they've suggested that they could have up to 10 lease sales over the next 5 years or none. So we need to impact that public policy conversation by making sure that the 705 zip code is lighting up America.
Absolutely. I mean, and it matters not only to us, but to everybody across the country. And yeah, it certainly would be a lot nicer if we weren't happy about the fact that, you know, gas has dropped to $3 a gallon or in that area. I mean, my God, it's killing our budget.
What it reminds me of? You know what it reminds me of when I hear people say, well, it's come down. You know, it's like the Saints. It's like saying, you know, at least we didn't have a losing season.
Right.
At least we didn't have a losing season. Come on. We're better than that. We've had 6 recessions from 1973 to 2019, and every one of those recessions has been preceded by a spike in energy prices, as goes America's access to affordable, not cheap, but affordable energy. So goes America's economic performance. We sell more cars in America when we have affordable energy prices. We build more homes in America when we have affordable energy prices. We have a more robust retail system when we have affordable energy prices. And, of course, we're teetering right now on entering a recession because in the name of the environment, we have paused and canceled Gulf of Mexico lease sales, but yet there was a report that was produced by the Obama-Biden administration in November 2016, a federal document, public record, that says not having lease sales would actually cause greenhouse gas emissions to go up because America would have to look to foreign sources. And 73% of the oil that we import into America has a higher carbon intensity rate than the Gulf of Mexico production. So why are we doing it in the name of the environment? It's an unforced error. The science doesn't add up. And rather than increasing interest rates, we need to increase domestic production by unleashing the USA energy worker. And we encourage folks this morning in Acadiana to light up America, to light up Washington, D.C. in a positive way by visiting that texting offshore space USA to 52886.
Well, Scott Angelle has been our guest, sir. Thank you so much for this, and we'll continue to remind folks between now and Thursday as well. We appreciate your insight and your time.
Thank you so much. Before I say goodbye, I want to again remind everybody in Acadiana that LACO is coming to a zip code near you in a couple 3 weeks from now. We need this zip code to support LACO. If we're going to be a serious player on the national scene, we need to be hosting a serious oil and gas show. And I think LACO's done an amazing job of reinventing themselves to include renewables this year. So let's show America that Lafayette, Louisiana knows how to host an energy conference that is worthy of the national scene.
Amen to that, sir. Appreciate it. Scott Angelle has been our guest. Thank you, sir. It's